Alright, so let's begin. First ring, this is the base ring. I already have cut all the triangulars tab here with the X-Acto knife, or even you can do it with a scissor. And so first thing is start curving it, and look how I do it. Pretty simple technique, very lightly. Already curved there. We're gonna apply glue here on this end, so this tab will go there. A regular Elmer's glue, that's the preferred glue for this type of work. Now, the more tools you have to help you building all these models, the better. In this case, in order not to waste time, I have this hair clip. Just put it there, and it will hold it while I do the other ring. Same technique. More glue. This is kind of a very easy video, a beginner's video, but there's a lot of people out there that might skip this video because they might already know how to do these. But for the newcomers, the beginners, this might be a big deal, and it might be very helpful to understand the process of building these things. Okay, I have two rings. We're just gonna let it dry. Another one, same thing. Just curve it like that, very lightly. Apply glue. And try to be precise in joining both ends. Do your best. Be very patient while you're doing these things. If you rush, the model will not be good. And there it is. We're going to hold, let it dry for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and do the rest. Alright, so I'm back. Now I can remove this clip. It's already dried. So the next step is to apply, well, to connect these two rings, one on top of each other. The reference point how to join them, beginning with the seam line. Where they are connected, that's considered the seam line. The other seam line will go on top. But before doing that, you have to make sure to bend these triangular tabs a little bit inward. That way, it will make room for the upper ring to go on top. When I say that, I mean, if you don't do it, you will find some resistance when trying to join these two rings. So it's better to bend these triangular tabs. I use a tweezer and look very lightly. I don't want you to bend totally, completely like 90 degrees. I'm not talking about that. It's very lightly, just a very subtle bend. All the tabs. You gotta do it. That's why you have to be patient. Okay. Okay, so now we are ready. In order to glue this one on top, we're going to apply glue on the inner part. So let's apply glue. And while you are applying glue like this with the same tip of the bottle, just spread the glue on a thin film. Okay, I think that's it. So let's orient ourselves, find the seam line, just this one, and try to match the two seam lines. First, seam line with seam line in the back, and hold there. That's like you're anchoring this first part, and move towards the opposite side, the front, and try attaching those, anchoring that segment, and little by little it will fall in place. Now you start pressing the tabs. Don't worry about aligning these vertical lines, the drawings. That really is not the important thing to care about at this time. You have to be sure not leaving any gaps in between the two rings, and you're gonna keep going along the circumference, pressing the tabs. Okay, keep doing it until you will feel that the glue has dried. So what I'm doing here, it's supposed to be, this is the process with the rest of the rings. Even with a nose cone, it's the same method. This is a bulkhead that only has what, 3 rings, that's it. So it's it doesn't take too long to build it as compared to a nose cone that has so many rings. But all in all, you really need to be very patient in doing this. So as I'm talking, I'm looking very careful, not leaving any gaps. While you're closing in the 2 rings, and at the same time you are pressing on the back the tab. And you can feel that, yes, it's getting drier and drier. Just take a few minutes, but it's worth doing this. Take your time, don't rush. At the end, remember that you will have a great results. So we're getting there. I can feel that the glue is drying, and the rings are being held firmly. Okay, 2 rings are done. Let's wait a little bit, and we're going to do the same process in bending now these teeth inwards again, in order for the next ring to go on top. All right, so it's the same process. Let's do that. Okay, now Same thing, I'm going to start bending these teeth inwards a little bit so I can add the third ring on top very lightly. Just bend each tooth. Alright, there you go. It's getting ready. And this piece is already dry. So it will go here. And the same things as reference. The seam line with the seam line. Alright, so let's apply glue on this. You don't have to apply glue in the entire back. Only you have to estimate, about this is what it has to be glued onto this, so it's only the edge that you have to put glue onto, just like this. And with the tip of the bottle, just spread it, making sure that you're not missing any spot of the edge with no glue, so you have to be sure that there's enough glue there. All right, you got it. Again, this is the seam line, and we're going to press there, anchor point, and start pressing down, and little by little do the same thing and trying to press the teeth that are in the back, the tabs. Okay. You need to take all the time needed to get this ring firmly glued. Do not rush. It's nice to have a nice model that when you take a picture, others can admire and can see, yeah, it's pretty clean, it's pretty neat. And if you rush, you can leave obvious gaps. You don't want that. So we're getting there. Okay, so the purpose is that each ring has to be firmly glued with the other one. In this case, do not look at these lines trying matching them. That's not the point. This is only a drawing on a sketch, but as long as you have more or less the seam line well centered here, you're good. All right, so 3 rings are done. The next step is a little different now, because we're going to build a cone that will go on top of this. And if we're doing that, these triangular tabs in this case will need to be bent upwards and not to the inside. You have to, in this case, almost like 45 degrees, almost like 90 degrees. You have to lift them up. Okay, I don't know if the camera, yeah, lift them up. Why? Because the cone will cover these tabs. So just slightly move them up. Every little triangle with the tweezer. So let's do this. Remember, this only applies to the MK-1 vehicle. This bulkhead it's only for the MK-1 and the SN8 and SN9, it's totally different. Okay, so we got this ready, and now we're going to assemble this, the cone that will go on top of this. All right,